and welcome to the Virtual Hire Hand live blog. My name is Tiffany Parson, and with me, of course, is
Ashioma.
We're back talking to you about social media, webinars, repurposing, everything all goes together. We're talking about tips, trends, what you can do, what you are doing, aren't doing. Well, today it's all about Zoom. So we're zooming in regards to webinars. This particular update just announced last week, actually. So this month. And it's a little wild, y'all. So here it is. Brace yourselves. If you use Zoom, and we are big on using Zoom, have not found a competitor that, can compete. We're always testing behind the scenes. But Zoom is teaming up with World to verify humans in meetings. Now, this article comes from TechCrunch. It's also confirmed on the newsroom for Zoom. What they're saying, and I'm going slow on purpose, y'all, because I want you to really grasp this. They want hosts, if you desire as a host, to be able to confirm that the people on your webinar are human and not AI. There have been instances where people have gotten scammed because they thought they were in a virtual room full of people, only to learn after the fact that everybody in the room, except for one person, was AI. So again, Zoom has partnered with Tools for Humanity to integrate World ID Deep Face into Zoom meetings. It was just announced last week. So if you go to the help section in Zoom, the AI, they don't know anything about it. They just announced it in their blog. This is wild, Ashioma.
It is wild. It is really wild. I tell you, it is. Someone's what in the world? What's
What in the world? Zoom already has it where you can have a waiting room and you
yes.
can admit as a host, you can admit every person individually, see their name to confirm they're supposed to be here. People can register. They will have their own link, attendance link that confirms that they're here. They have the captcha thing to confirm that you're human. I'm just trying to think of all the ways that Zoom has it already built in to know whether you're human or not. But I guess with the advanced technology and being able to create videos and not of real people, now we have an added layer, and it's optional. This is not going to be a requirement. At least they're not saying it's a requirement for right now, but this is going to be an added layer. Now, get this are 3 ways. It's a 3-part approach to how they determine if you're human. So it's not just one thing, it's 3 things that have to be checked. And it says, first, a signed image taken at the time you register. Now, my thought, it must be at the time you register for that particular webinar, not necessarily Zoom itself. Because if you already have a Zoom account, I'm not sure how it would go backwards. But my thought is a signed image when you register for that particular webinar, a real-time face scan from your device, the user's device. So if you're coming into a webinar. And then the third thing, and if you do the first thing, you're still not verified. If you're human, you do the second thing, still not verified. You have to do the third thing, live video frame that's visible to other meeting participants. So once those 3 things match, then you're a verified human. And this is the wild thing. It's going to give you a badge that says verified human for your participant title.
As much as there's so much advancement in technology, these are the problems we have to deal with.
Yeah. This is just crazy. And y'all know I'm a tinker with the buttons and see what they mean by this, verifying an image and all that. And then what's not clear is once you're verified as a human, do you have to do it for every webinar, or once verified, you're done?
Well, I guess we have to find out.
We'll have to find out. And
Yes.
this is something that you as the host can turn on so that participants have to do this. There is a thing that you can enable, a deep face waiting room. And that's where the people will go through their verification as well in the deep face waiting room. That's an option so that people coming in can do this. Now, the question becomes, are people going to stick around long enough to want to be verified? There has to be some type of incentive doing this.
I was going to say, because that adds complexity layer to it. If you have 300 participants, how are you going to go through all of this at a go to get started on time?
The thing is, people don't even want to be on video. Now you want them to verify whether they're human or not
Yeah,
video. I'm
and so
serious.
it means like it is not just enough to be on video.
No, that's not enough. You might not be real. You might not be real if we just see the video. So we've got to have that verified human tag. And
Wow.
it's to the point where you could also make it like a joke and just have it and be like, as you can see, I'm a verified human. I can't wait till this comes out. As freaky and wild as it is, I wouldn't want to go into a webinar where it was required. That would be a little odd. I think it would be helpful if the host said something about it or had a video on the registration page to communicate the reasons behind it. It can't just be you turn it on and now people are just gonna fall in line. It can't just be like that.
Yeah.
And I know the goal is for to be able to strengthen the trust in live communication. Now, the flip side of this is from the host standpoint. If you are the host and you have live human on yours, that might be cool
Yeah.
as a way of saying, yes, I'm real. This video is live. Because people are still saying the webinar is live, but then when you go to it, it's a live pre-recorded webinar. You can always tell live pre-recorded webinar because then when they refer to the chat and you go look at the chat and nothing's happening in the chat, or the chat doesn't match what they are saying is in the chat. Because I'm gonna look. They're like, oh, that's great, Cindy. You live in Washington State, but I'm gonna look because I'm always curious, is this live or not? You usually can tell.
Yes.
Recently, I was on a webinar. I was on Webinar Jam. It's supposed to be live. And because it's on Webinar Jam, I was suspicious that it was not live because that's their whole thing is that it's evergreen webinars. Look in the chat. You could only chat to the host. So you couldn't chat to everybody.
Yeah.
I could see that there were other people on there because you could see the little icon for the participants and the number. But when he was referring to the chat and I looked down at the chat, it's empty. And then when I was like gonna put something in the chat just to see, it was only gonna go to the host. I was like, this is not live. This is pre-recorded. But anyway, this is the latest and greatest from Zoom. Any final thoughts? Any
Well,
thoughts on this?
I guess it's all the trust factor becoming more of a feature now.
Yeah.
And with the whole AI thing going, I guess we need to really prove ourselves that we're human.
Definitely. And I feel like that means if there is, you missay a word or you stutter a bit or your phone rings in the background or there's a baby crying, let all of it happen so people know you're real. You're a real person.
I wonder if this was what happened because a friend was ranting to me the other day how much she was on a webinar and she was attending to her kids in the background. And she noticed that she was removed from the webinar. She was wondering what's going on here. And she logged on back. And then there was a message that everybody needed to turn on their video. And as she was fiddling with it to turn hers on, she was booted out again. I'm like, that's interesting. Since when did it become a thing for everybody to put on their cameras? I don't know. I
Right.
really don't know. Yeah. She was really mad and frustrated. Like, why?
Yeah, and that it should be said somewhere before you register for a webinar that all
Exactly.
camera. I've never been to a webinar where videos were required. Yes, they wanted it, especially if they're like, we're trying to get like a screenshot of everybody and all this who's there, but never required.
That's even optional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh wow.
And to
Never
get
heard of
booted
that.
out because you don't have your camera on?
Yeah.
What if her camera was just looking up at the ceiling? Would that be okay? That's crazy. That is crazy. Don't do that, you guys. Don't try to force everybody to be on camera.
Yeah.
Everybody does not want to be on camera. They may not be able to be on camera. Be glad that they're present and live at the webinar because that's the biggest thing is getting people to come to the webinar live because so many people wait for the replay. And I know sometimes hosts don't even want to offer the replay as a freebie because they know people wait for the replay. So I've seen it where people have you pay for the replay, like $27. I've seen it $49. You pay for the replay, or they'll have the replay available for 24 hours. And then after that, you have to pay for the replay. Yeah, but to require a camera and all that stuff, no, not something that we advise. But as far as this update, verifying humans, if this is something that is an issue for you, then you definitely want to test this out when it rolls out. What I could not find is when this plans to roll out. They had just announced it to us in the last week or so, but we don't know when it's going to roll out. They could have announced it now and roll out end of the year, next year. We don't know, but we will be on the lookout for this particular update as it relates to Zoom. Zoom has various updates, but this one was one we knew we had to bring to you. So, any final thoughts?
So just be on the lookout and let our audience know about it.
For sure. We
Yeah.
absolutely will.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you're not already following us on Facebook, I don't know why not. Go ahead and hit the follow button there. If you're watching on YouTube and that's your preferred place, we're not going to take you away from YouTube. Just hit subscribe so you can hit notifications so you can get notified about that. I'm getting confused with subscribe and notify, but you know what to do. Make sure you do either one so that you can get a notification in your inbox. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are live humans.
Yes,
and
we
that
are.
was ways to prove that we are live. So anyway, have a great day.